BJP MLA and former Gujarat Minister Maya Kodnani and Bajrang Dal leader Babu Bajrangi for life in the Naroda Patia case of the 2002 Gujarat riots. 93 people had died in Naroda Patia, and 10 years later there is finally a sense of justice being done for the victims. Meghdut Sharon has tonight's top story.
Former Gujarat Minister Maya Kodnani sentenced to life for 18 years and a 10-year serial sentence, making it a 28-year term in jail. Bajrang Dal's Babu Bajrangi sentenced to life till death. The BJP MLA and the Bajrang Dal leader are the two most powerful faces amongst 31 convicts who were sentenced to life for carrying out the mass killings of 97 people in Naroda Patia during the 2002 Gujarat riots. The rest of the convicts were sentenced to life for 21 years.
My will go behind the bar for 10 plus 18. The rest of the accused, other than Babu Bajrangi, 10 plus 21. And Babu Bajrangi will go behind the bar for the rest of the life, that is, till he survives.
The Naroda Patia massacre was not just the worst in terms of the number of people killed in a single incident, but also in terms of the horrific nature of the killings. It was here that Kausar Bano, a woman who was 9 months pregnant, was raped, murdered and burnt. The verdict today has also made this the case with the highest number of convictions and life sentences. But activists believe that it's an unprecedented victory because it's the first time a BJP MLA who instigated the mobs has been brought to justice.
अदालत से हमको इतना इंसाफ मिला, हमको बहुत खुश है। पर अल्लाह का बहुत बड़ा एहसान है, हमको इंसाफ ऐसा मिल जाए। हमारे दिल को आज सुकून मिला, 10 बरस के बाद आज हमें बहुत सुकून मिला कि इनको इतनी सजा मिली।
There are two very important and rare points in this judgment. One is the part where the judge has specifically mentioned that Maya Kodnani's two separate terms of 10 and 18 years will run serially and not concurrently. And the other one, of course, where the judge has ordered a rupees 5 lakh compensation for one of the victims who was raped and mauled in the massacre.
It's also a great moment of victory for the SIT appointed by the Supreme Court. The Naroda Patia case is the 5th amongst the 8 major post-Godhra riot cases where the SIT has got convictions and life sentences for most of the accused. The number of convictions and life sentences in Gujarat is also perhaps unprecedented in terms of riot cases in India's history. With Meghdut Sharon in Ahmedabad, in New Delhi, HR Venkatesh.
Okay, let's turn to the big talking point tonight. Has the 2002 riots verdict set a precedent for all riot cases now? Naroda Patia verdict for all riot cases. Joining me now, Ved Marwa, former Commissioner of Police, Delhi. He joins me here. He was the Commissioner of Police during those terrible 1984 riots that took place in the capital where 3,000 Sikhs were killed. Joining me now, Mani Shankar Iyer, Member of Parliament of the Congress, Meenakshi Lekhi, Advocate, Mahila Morcha National Vice President of the BJP, and Mukul Sinha, Senior Advocate of the Gujarat High Court, who was one of those who was instrumental in the successful prosecution of these riot cases. Appreciate all of you joining us. Mani Shankar Iyer, when you look at what has happened in Gujarat today, and I'm going to play a graphic before I come to you, just to give an example of the prosecution figures in the 84 Delhi riots in comparison to 2002. 2002 Gujarat riots, in 5 of the 9 SIT probe riot case verdicts, 107 convictions on murder charges have taken place. In the 84 anti-Sikh riots, 30 people have been convicted on murder charges in 12 cases. 2002 Gujarat riots, former minister in the Modi government, Maya Kodnani, has been sentenced to 28 years in jail. 1984 anti-Sikh riots, the court accepted the CBI's closure report, given a clean chit to Jagdish Titler in those riots. Bajrang Dal leader Babu Bajrangi sentenced to imprisonment till death. In the anti-Sikh riots, there are 4 cases against Congress leader Sajjan Kumar still at trial case. Mr. Iyer, when you see that, when you see those figures, would you concede that for the Congress, Delhi 84 remains a deep black spot and that many of those who led the mobs have actually got away, sir?
I certainly accept that it is a very deep black spot. I would also remind your viewers that the Congress party has apologized on more than one occasion. I would also like to stress that between the 3rd of November 1984,
yes,
when Rajiv Gandhi personally drove around the riot-affected areas and brought the rioting to an end, there was no other case of rioting.
Mr. Mani Shankar Iyer, what is the point of an apology when no one gets convicted? An apology without conviction has lettled me. Not a single high-profile politician got convicted in 1984. That's the precedent in a sense that that perhaps today at least finally a major politician has been prosecuted and sentenced to 28 years. There's no use of apology without convictions. Would you concede that too?
You are the one who has just informed your viewers that there have been 30 convictions.
30 convictions when 3,000 people died, sir. 30 convictions when 3,000 people died and not a single major politician was convicted. That's the history of the worst riot.
No, there are two
post 47.
There are two separate points that you're making.
Yes.
Number one, you're comparing the number of convictions to the number of people dead.
Yes.
As if in some sense there has to be a proportion here. As far as I'm concerned, the rule of law must prevail, and if in the courts it has proved possible to actually convict 30 persons responsible for that, I would hope that anyone who was responsible for it should be convicted. Your second point is about
not a single high-profile... Sorry to interrupt, sir. Not a single high-profile politician was convicted. And the fact is, Sajjan Kumar, after 28 years, is still facing the courts. 28 years, sir.
Sir, I wish to say that I was attempting to answer your second question.
Yes.
But you're so bemused with your own question that you made it 3 times.
Yes.
Now give me the opportunity of responding.
Yes, sir.
It is not possible to convict a politician unless the evidence against him or her stands up in a court of law.
Yes.
And if it doesn't stand up in a court of law, you cannot constitute your channel into a kangaroo court and demand that a politician be convicted. In this present case, the case against Jagdish Titler has been brought to closure. And as for Sajjan Kumar, the cases are still going on.
Yes.
Now, it is not my fault or anybody else's that even after 28 years, those who are accusing Sajjan Kumar have failed to prove their case beyond any shadow of doubt in a court of law. And so long as you believe in the rule of law and not in exciting your viewers with false accusations, I think you will have to accept that it is for the courts to convict, not for TV channels to convict.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. H.S. Phoolka, a senior advocate who all his life has tried for the last 28 years to achieve those prosecutions. Manishankar Iyer is saying prosecutions are based on evidence. If the evidence was not good enough and no high-profile politician convicted in 84, then why are you blaming, in a sense, the Congress leadership?
Just one example I gave.
Yes.
He mentioned about Sajjan Kumar. In case of Sajjan Kumar in the police station of Nangloi, in 1992, a charge sheet was prepared, signed, because all investigation took place during VP Singh's government. Charge sheet was signed by the ACP, ready to be filed in the court. It was never filed in the court. For 19 years, that charge sheet was suppressed. It was a murder of 3 murders.
So you're saying deliberate political interference prevented
and the person and the officer who was in charge, who was responsible, is promoted, and today he's in the Prime Minister's security. When you do not even send the cases to the court, what do you expect? Number one. Now, secondly, Mr. Iyer said on 3rd, Rajiv Gandhi went out. Yes, Rajiv Gandhi went out on 3rd because 3 days of killing was over. And moment Rajiv Gandhi went on 3rd, the killing stopped. Like somebody had put off the button.
Quick response.
Killing started. Now, Rajiv Gandhi go out on 1st or 2nd?
Manishankar Iyer,
if he's going out, would stop the killing?
Manishankar Iyer, quick response, because the fact is, at the end of the day, there is a serious charge of political interference that has prevented previous riot cases like 84 Gujrat or indeed 92-93 Mumbai from being successfully prosecuted.
You just mentioned that Mr. Phoolka has made a career out of these cases. And he's welcome to go into any court of law and prove his charge of political
Manishankar, I have my career of my own. I do these cases as pro bono without charging a single fee. By people like you who are blaming. This is because you have nothing else. I have made a career out of this. Not even a single penny I have charged all these 25 years, and you are telling I have made a career. I was designated as senior advocate by the court at the age of just 44.
Point taken, Mr. Phoolka. I know this is an emotional issue for you, but Manisha Guerrero, respond to that. Would you concede that political interference in the past has prevented riot cases from being successfully prosecuted?
I know that this has been stated. I think it needs to be proved. And I certainly do hope that we can totally rehaul our judicial system and our police system, as Ved Marwa recommended, I think about 30 years ago, in the police commission that he headed, which will enable a fast tracking of all these cases in the riots. There is no fast tracking in this Maya Kodnani case. It's taken 10 years, but I'm glad, because the evidence was so overwhelming. In the case of Mr. Phoolka's cases, there's plenty of charges made by him, but it's for the courts to decide whether it's guilty or not.
If the matter reaches the court only, then the court will decide.
Okay.
Now Nanavati says, I showed to Mr. Ravi Shankar Sai, Nanavati says that a SHO, Ram Meher Sharma, came and deposed before Nanavati that in the case of Ajay Kaur, FIR 1318 of Gandhinagar police station, HKL Pagat was named. He received, SHO received a letter from Home Secretary, do not Chalan Pagat. Now,
so you're saying that previous cases, and 84 is a good example where you're saying government interference prevented the likes of Bhagat from being prosecuted. I'm going to come to the police officer in a moment, but Meenakshi Lekhi, yes, we could compare 84, and the BJP, I know, likes to compare 2002 with 84, but would you concede also today that the fact that a senior minister of yours is convicted of murder and conspiracy of leading a mob and sentenced to 28 years in jail is a huge black spot on the BJP and its claims that it actually tried to stop the riots of Gujarat 2002?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I would like to compare a couple of other things, and picking up from what Mr. Iyer said, that it is for the justice system to appreciate the evidence, but evidence is collected by the local police. And in case of Gujarat, I will like to take the credit that being a tough administrator, the evidence was collected by the local police, thereafter confirmed by SIT, and the delay what has happened because some of the right activists took the matter to Supreme Court for having the matter transferred to other states, saying that justice will not be received in this state, and matter kept pending for good 5 years plus. And because of that, there was a delay, not because of the police.
Meenakshi Lekhi, hold on. Meenakshi Lekhi, hold on. No, I must intervene. Meenakshi Lekhi, just a minute.
Evidence was appreciated. And
Meenakshi Lekhi, Maya Kodnani was made a minister in the Modi government despite the fact that immediately after 2002, the charges were made that she was leading mobs in Naroda Patia. She was eventually charge-sheeted only when the SIT stepped in. A Gujarat IPS officer, Rahul Sharma, prepared the phone log CD that led to her charge-sheeting. Rahul Sharma has been targeted by the Gujarat government. All this will raise questions over the bona fides of your government. Just as 1984, the Congress has much to answer. You have much to answer in the case of Gujarat. Why not concede that?
Absolutely not. Rajdeep, allow me to complete, especially Mayaben Kodnani's matter.
Yes.
She was an MLA from 98 regularly.
Yes.
And in spite of her being a very active political worker and a very renowned doctor, 2003, the police collected the evidence and was going ahead with the investigation and filing of the charge sheet. In the meantime, some NGO workers, in the name of NGO, took the matter on false evidence and false pretexts before the Supreme Court, and they were reprimanded by the Supreme Court for doing so. And SIT was formed, and 2009, the same SIT confirmed that the evidence collected by the then government was absolutely correct. Now, these two are completely unconnected things. There was a resistance within the Gujarat government not to allow Ms. Kodnani to be taken as the minister. This is one part of the story. The government, when it comes to administration, collects evidence against her. And because she was a popular MLA,
the Gujarat IPS officer who prosecuted her, the Gujarat IPS officer Rahul Sharma who provided the evidence has been targeted.
Rahul Sharma and Bhatt, I can discuss in detail, point by point, on another program. And right now, I want to focus on Narora Patia. and I will suggest that you keep a program how police has been influenced politically. We will come to that separately.
Okay, hold on.
Even in this case, interestingly, I will have one question for Mr. Mukul Sinha, because he is the one who's been pursuing the matters. He is, I think, well aware of Section 427 of the CRPC, where sentences have to run concurrently. In Mayaben Kodnani, I am not defending her, but just asking a reasonable legal question, because in Best Bakery, such practice of the trial court has been committed to be reprehensible by the High Court of Maharashtra. Similar mistake happens in this case, that 28-year sentence cannot be made to run because in two separate charges, in one part 18 years is governed, the other 10 years.
You made
total, the story goes 28. I think it is absolutely unheard of under the criminal jurisprudence.
You made your point, ma'am. Let Mukul Sinha respond. Let Mukul Sinha respond. Mukul Sinha respond to the fact. The charge, in fact, being made by the likes of Meenakshi Lekhi is your influence.
I'm sorry, I am not going to respond to that question because there are far more important issues involved.
Because
let him respond, ma'am.
Bakery, you have been answered.
Meenakshi Lekhi, you've had your say. Let him respond. Yes, Mukul Sinha.
Okay, I'll go by some other issues. One thing that can be noticed common thing between the representative of BJP as well as Congress, they defend their murders very well. I think they have to understand. Both of y'all are doing exactly the same thing. One apologizes and then defends it, and the other one doesn't even apologize.
Let him be heard.
But anyway, that's
ma'am, please let him be heard. Yes, go ahead.
Let me come to the facts now, please. You all have had your space, and let's get some space in now. Now, let me tell you something where the lady has gone entirely wrong, that the Gujarat police had made any investigation against Mayaben. This is an absolute falsity. In fact, it is exactly the other way around. I'll give you exact figures. Up to 2007, the Gujarat police did everything possible not to arrest Mayaben. In fact, there was a complaint against Mayaben which was dropped by the Gujarat police in 2003. Those papers are with us. It was only after Rahul Sharma's CD came, and actually the analysis was not done by Rahul Sharma Rajiv, it was done by Jansangharsh Manch. We had done the analysis, and we pointed out that Mayaben was present in Naroda Patiya throughout the day, and we placed that before Nanavati Commission as well as before the SIT. I may tell you also one thing, that SIT itself was very hesitant. It did not want to arrest Mayaben till we put an enormous pressure on them. Thereafter, they started investigating and Mayaben. So they did everything under the sun to...
Point taken. What is clear? What is clear? No, just a minute. Ma'am, I want to come to Mr. Marwa because the fact is...
Affidavit of Gujarat government against Mayaben Kodnani is on record, and this is Gujarat government statement. So don't fool around with public.
That is post 2007. I have to come to Mr. Marwa, my producer.
After she got arrested.
No, Mr. Marwa, you're hearing the politicians. The fact is, and whether we like it or not, 2002 Gujarat, 92-93 Mumbai, where eventually the Sri Krishna Commission's report was even thrown out by the BJP Shiv Sena government. No action was taken against the Shiv Sena, or 84, where the Congress leadership and senior leaders got away. The role of the police, is that critical? Because at the end of the day, it is about evidence that you provide before the court. Here it appears the SIT, along with professional policemen, ensured that the evidence was backed up and corroborated. Would you concede that in 84 that did not happen, sir?
First, a point of correction on a factual point. I was not the commissioner during the riots. I joined the Delhi police later on. Now, your question about what's happened in Gujarat and what happened in 84 riots. I think it is an open secret that today our police forces have been politicized to such an extent that they do mind reading of what the political rulers want. It is not confined to one particular state or only at the center. Unfortunately, this virus has spread all over.
Would you say that the state police is more susceptible, sir? Because here an SIT was set up with a former CBI director in charge. Do you believe that that is the only solution then in a case of riots? Because otherwise the state police, the local police is even more susceptible to local political pressures.
No, I won't say it is the center state is much different. What I would say is that here Supreme Court activism has led to a new life in investigation of the cases in
possibly
Gujarat.
Media activism,
media,
the fact that there were no 24/7 cameras in 1984 of the manner that they are today, there is no place to hide for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Your main question that this will be a precedent or not, I am pessimistic.
You are pessimistic?
Because Supreme Court activism is not a practical thing in every possible case. We have to set the whole criminal justice system in a system where police and prosecution and the judiciary can function in an autonomous, professional manner. That's not happening. You can see a number of recent cases and nothing has changed. Even today, they function under political influence.
You know, Manishankar Iyer, here is Ved Marwa, someone whom you would respect, one of the country's most respected police officers, saying he's pessimistic because he fears that as in 84, where the Congress put pressure to let off their leaders, or in 2002, as it happened with Gujrat till the SIT stepped in, or in 92-93, where the Shiv Sena came into power and got their people away, the politicians will not allow the police to function autonomously.
That is exactly why I commended to you at the start of this program the Ved Marwa Commission report, which predates all the specific incidents or riots that you have mentioned. I think the Ved Marwa Commission report needs to be implemented. But please remember that under our constitution, law and order is a state subject. And not until we can get a consensus between the center and the states on what should be done in the events of a riot, can we have a constitutional order which permits the Ved Marwa Commission recommendations to be implemented. So I do hope that I am pessimistic like Ved is, but the hope lies not so much in Rajdeep Sardesai patting himself on the back for media coverage 24/7, but much more in the fact that there is now a demand for re-looking at center-state relations, primarily aimed at strengthening the role of the state. But in this context, I think the center would be well advised to insist that in the case of mass rioting, we should take advantage of some of the precedents that have been set by Supreme Court activism and ensure that there is independence in the investigation of such incidents.
But you know, I am not patting myself on the back. All I am saying is today, unlike in 84, there is no place to hide. There was a sting operation on Babu Bajrangi conducted by Tehelka. There was incessant coverage of Gujarat. There have been social activists who have kept Gujarat on the agenda. Do you believe, Mr. Phoolka, that that is also one of the differences between 84 and 2002? Or do you believe that the real problem is with policing? Manishankar Iyer is saying implement the Ved Marwa report. Do you believe that politicians will do it? Your experience of tracking the 84 riots, do you believe politicians will allow the police to function autonomously? And do you believe things could have been different if there was more sustained coverage, if there was more sustained civil society pressure?
You see, definitely in the Gujarat, there are differences because of the media coverage and because of the civil society has wakened up. It is there. But at the same time, you see, this is a much bigger issue, non-politicizing the police, and this much bigger issue. But as far as the criminal violence, because you cannot wait to non-politicize the police force and keep on these things happening. This may happen in Assam, this may happen in Mumbai, this may happen. In 2004, when this government came in power, the main agenda of the Congress was to pass the criminal violence bill. But till today, we have not seen that bill. I was also when I went and first presented before the parliament.
But do you believe that it is enough to change laws? At the end of the day, it requires successful prosecution on the ground.
No, prosecution also. Along with, before the prosecution, first completing, checking the violence. Now, there should be no discretion in the officer. Moment a mass-scale violence means if 10 murders have taken place, the army has to be called immediately. There should not be any discretion in the officer. Number two, moment the 10 murders have taken place, the investigation should immediately go to the central agency. Local police should not have. Because the reason is the same but like I said everywhere, that large-scale violence is not possible without the connivance of the local police and the local political leadership.
That's the question. Let's be honest. Meenakshi Lekhi, Manishankar Iyer, large-scale violence in India doesn't take place without the connivance of the local political leadership. Today, that has been proven in Naroda Partia. In 1984, that was true. Maybe the leaders have not been arrested, but the fact is 3,000 people don't die without the support of local political leadership. More than 1,000 people don't die in Gujarat without the support of the local political leadership. Absolutely. Why don't you, as politicians, Meenakshi Lekhi, hold your hand up and say, Mea Culpa? You and Manishankar Iyer today, both of you should say that your political parties have had blood on their hands.
No, absolutely, I will not agree with this for two reasons. One, what you're comparing is incomparable. What happened in 84 was virtually a genocide because only 6 died. Whereas what happened in Gujarat was a case of rioting, both Hindus and Muslims died. And what happened in Gujarat was Congress party workers along with BJP workers have been convicted and sentenced for rioting. Both sides killing of Muslims or for killing for Hindus.
Meenakshi Lekhi, on a day when a BJP minister gets convicted, surely you should have a mea culpa.
Yes. I'm sorry, don't keep on repeating BJP minister. She was an MLA, and there was somebody called May Singh Chaudhary who was a then MLA of Congress. There was somebody called Nisar Bapu who was then deputy mayor of Vadodara. Yes. So don't give me these figures. There are 25 leaders from the Congress who were also convicted both for killing Hindus and Muslims. So these were riots. Yes. Now, a riot situation is happening in a particular state. Army was called in within 24 hours. Yes. And if you have a hostile center, will use it to propagate a different mechanism. So what Mr. Phoolka is suggesting is absolutely incorrect. I think it is to do with the political will. And please give credit, start giving credit to Mr. Modi for running his administration correctly, because he has arrested both Hindus and Muslims culpable for committing whatever crimes they have been committing and collecting the correct evidence. So whatever Mr. Mukul Sinha and others who have made careers out of Gujarat riots may disagree, but the fact of the matter is that Gujarat government acted completely in an unbiased manner. And,
your point taken, ma'am.
And 10,000 rounds of fire.
Mr. Mukul Sinha, will you give some credit? Will you give some credit to the Modi government that one of his ministers has been arrested? Will you give any credit to the Modi government?
Yes, he does get the credit of not preventing the mass murder of over 1,000 people, and also he has the credit of not permitting the investigation to go on till the SIT came. Now, I think she can cry herself hoarse. It makes no difference, because till now, the only investigation that has been worth the paper is the investigation by SIT. Now, Rajiv, I wish to make a point. Because you all are trying to get an idealized situation where the mass murders in such situations can be prevented. I think it's a very idealistic question, because as you rightly pointed out, these mass murders can never take place without the help of the local politicians. In the case of Congress in 84, I think the point that should be made is, apart from media not being there, apart from not much civil activism, there's another thing missing. It is again BJP. The BJP was the political opponent. They should have taken all the trouble to prosecute the guilty congressmen. Let me ask a question. After so many years, have a single organization of BJP come forward? A single organization have come forward to prosecute the guilty congressmen?
Hold on. I don't want to go down this road again. Now, let me get Manishankar. Manishankar, do you believe the time has come for a mea culpa, sir? Both the major national parties, as I said, have blood on their hands, and we, rather than engaging in a zero-sum game, comparing riots, why not just say that the Congress will never allow a 1984 to happen and the BJP will never allow a 2002 to happen? Why not say that, sir?
So it has not happened, Mr. Desai.
Okay.
Desai, it has not happened since 2002, whereas Gujarat has a history of rioting.
Okay.
Every year there has been
I'm asking Manishankar. Hold on, Manishankar, do you believe that the Congress has learned the lessons of 1984?
The Congress learned the lessons of 1984 on the 3rd of November. We have said mea culpa more than once.
But
no
one
I
got
don't
convicted.
accept your argument.
Mea
that
culpa without anyone being convicted.
Let me finish, yaar. You know, between you and Meenakshi, it becomes impossible for anybody else to participate.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Let me finish what I was saying.
Sir.
I said that from the 3rd of November 1984 onwards, the Congress has already said mea culpa 26 or 27 years ago. And we repeat that it is our proud record that from the 3rd of November till the last day of the Rajiv Gandhi government, notwithstanding numerous provocations in Punjab and even in Delhi when 11 transistor bombs went off, killing several innocent people, there was no retaliation because the government was absolutely firm. As regards the involvement of, let me finish. As regards the local and national politicians, I believe they should be brought to justice if there is any evidence against them. And I totally refute Mukul Sinha's defamatory argument that I am defending murder. From the 3rd of November, we've been condemning all this murder.
Sir,
and saying,
by the 3rd of November was too late. I'm sorry to intervene. 3rd of November was too late. 3,000 Sikhs had died.
But the
3,000 Sikhs had died by the 3rd of November.
Only in Delhi. Of participating in such a program.
Okay. I'm just going to give...
What is the point of participating in a program unless you let me say that under the Constitution, which is the point you don't seem to have understood, law and order and public order are state subjects. And not
Delhi is under the central government.
Are willing to join us.
Are you telling me that the Rajiv Gandhi government, if it wanted, could not have prevented the killing of Sikhs? Are we saying that Rajiv Gandhi government could not have prevented the killing of Sikhs, Manishankar Iyer, in 1984? Cross your heart and say that. That you genuinely believe you could not have prevented it.
Well, all right, I'm not a Christian, but nevertheless, let me cross my heart. Perhaps I did it in the wrong direction. And say that the Congress leadership, particularly Sri Rajiv Gandhi, who had become Prime Minister only on the evening of the 31st of October, had made the mistake of leaving it in the hands of Home Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, of whom you, Rajdeep, are a great admirer.
He's a Congress Prime Minister, sir.
To sort things out.
He was a Congress Prime Minister, sir.
I say that it was complete, that was a big mistake of administration made by them, but they do not have blood on their hands because they didn't do the killing. I believe that Narendra Modi does have blood on his hands
wanted to call army.
Narendra Modi has
he didn't have his way.
You're saying Narasimha Rao wanted to call the army?
Wanted to call the army on first morning, but he didn't have his way.
Okay, there are various claims, including the so-called statement of Rajiv Gandhi that when a big tree falls, the
that was on the 19th of November.
Not just that. What is the role of?
Can I just make one
point?
Okay, no, the final word is.
Why are you doing this? It's very, very wrong of you.
Okay.
This statement about the tree falling was made 16 days after he ensured
that was a rationalizing of the violence
to justify a Sikh head that would be touched.
Okay,
some would call it for justification. Read the piece. I've written it again and again and again, and it's not my fault that you, Rajdeep, are deliberately being illiterate on this issue in order to cater to the kind of galleries.
No, I'm not, sir. Many believe it was a rationalization of the violence.
Well, in that case, why are you bringing it up?
Okay, because many believe it was a rationalization of the violence.
Rajiv, can I make a request to you?
I'm going to give the final word to Ved Marwa. Ved Marwa, away from all the noise. Do you believe that what we've seen today happened in Gujarat, the judge being firm, a lower court judge being firm, giving the greatest punishment that anyone could get, life imprisonment, do you believe it will ensure in future that the political class of this country will think twice before they engage in or sponsor any form of mass killing? Final word, sir.
Well, let me give another factual correction.
Yes.
Mr. Manishankar Iyer has referred to Ved Marwa Commission report. There was no Ved Marwa Commission report. It was National Police Commission report.
Right.
I was only a joint secretary in the National Police Commission.
Right.
Now, as answer to your question, I hope that it does, because it should send the right message to our political class that a crime like this will not they can't go scot-free. But as I said, unfortunately, our criminal justice system is heavily influenced by political interference into their day-to-day administration, not only overall. And this needs to change. We need to change our system in a manner where they are accountable to the rule of law. Even in Gujarat, it has taken 10 years. Why should it take 10 years?
Absolutely
It
right.
should have taken 1 year, maximum 2 years, not even 2 years.
Point taken, sir.
And in 84 riots, it has taken 28 years. Why? It's absurd. And I think this needs to change. Otherwise, unfortunately, what we hope and wish will not happen, and these things will happen again and again.
Well, that's a rather depressing note on which to end. But Ved Marwa is always a voice of wisdom. Ved Marwa, H.S. Phoolka, Manishankar Iyer, I appreciate your joining us and taking our questions. Meenakshi Lekhi too, and Mukul Sinha. At the end of the day, all we can hope is that Delhi 84, Gujarat 2002, Assam, Mumbai, neighbor must never kill neighbor. And if you do, you must get the highest punishment and speedily. Closure can only be achieved when there is a true sense of justice. The news continues. Still ahead on this show, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh hit